Good morning. Today is December 5th, 2022. And guess what? The new year is going to be here in a minute. Are you ready? And is now the time for you to actually think about what you want to accomplish in that new year? I'm the leader of the Raise Your Voice, Make Your Impact Facebook group. And from time to time, I interview curated experts who are experts in their field, who can fill gaps in your skill set that are beyond what I am an expert at, so that your own business can elevate and accomplish more magnificent things with the able support of people that you need to know. And today we are very fortunate to be meeting Laura Posey, a one-page business plan expert who has incredible value to add and an incredible personal story to share. So Laura, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Nancy. I am so excited to be here.
I am too. I was on your website this morning reading about this mountain climbing endeavor that you were experiencing and how you got some really big insights while you were hanging on a cliff. Will you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. Yeah. It's been, oh gosh, a little over, I guess it's been almost 15 years now. And I had built a business with a business partner. And unfortunately, I had built a business that I absolutely hated. It was just sucking the life out of me. And so I did what every responsible business owner does. I ran away from home and took a little sabbatical in Sedona, Arizona. And I was hiking up Cathedral Rock I wanted to get up to the top and look out and kind of clear my head and figure out what I was going to do about this horrible situation. And as I was going up the trail, I got to this place where the trail just went straight up. And I started like, okay, well, this is going to be a harder trail than I thought, but I'm in decent shape. So I just started climbing up this rock face and I got up, I don't know, probably 20 or 30 feet. And I realized like, I can't climb the rest of this way. I'm not strong enough to do this. And I looked down and realized like, I can't climb down. What the heck am I going to do? And I just had one of those moments where I thought, if I fall off this rock face, nobody knows where I am, right? Some hiker's going to come along and find my body after the coyotes have gotten it. I mean, I was really freaked out. And so I just kind of hung there for a second and I started looking around and I looked over and I saw like the most beautiful thing ever. I saw the actual trail that I was supposed to be on. And I was able to scrabble over, kind of crab sideways and get to solid ground. And I got over there, sort of caught my breath and ended up finishing my climb. I got up to the top of Cathedral Rock, which really wasn't that hard if you were on the trail. And I sat down, I thought about it, like, what just happened? And I realized that the problem I had gotten into on the trail was that I had set out without a map. I just thought, well, it's a trail. I can walk it. There'll be some signs, I'm smart. I can do this. And I realized that the reason I was sitting there was because my business was a mess. And my business was a mess because the exact same reason I had started my business without a map, without a plan for where I wanted to go, what I wanted to create, how I wanted to get there. And, like what was the easy path? And, it was just that in that moment that I realized like, I need a plan for this business that I'm going to build. And everything changed from that moment on.
And so the part I loved about this, who hasn't gotten on a path without a plan and found themselves in a boat without a paddle and wondering, what the heck am I going to do?
Yeah.
And so as I got to the end of the story that I found on your website, you were saying that you had a vision of kind of the life that you wanted.
Yeah.
And you built the business around it. And
Yeah.
sometimes people don't do that. So what was the life that you wanted?
Oh, it's interesting because when I came back, I changed pretty much everything in my life. I mean, business partner gone, personal partner gone, sold the house, the whole 9 yards. What I really wanted was I wanted a business of freedom. And for me, freedom has a lot of different parts. There's the financial freedom, right? And that's the freedom to do the things that you want to do, but it's also the freedom from worry about money. And I wanted the time and space freedom. I wanted to be able to choose when I worked and when I didn't work. I didn't want to have to show up in an office. I didn't want to have to wear a suit. I wanted to take summers off, and I really like short Mondays and short Fridays. I wanted to be able to work from anywhere in the world that I had a Wi-Fi connection. And I wanted to explore and have more adventures. And I wanted my business to be able to support those things. And it was just a complete 180 from what I was doing, because prior to getting to Sedona, I had just recreated the corporate job that I had. Like, had an office and I went to it and I wore a suit and I acted just like I did in corporate. And I thought, well, wait a minute, this is the whole reason I left corporate, because I hated all of this structure.
Well, and what I love about what you're talking about here is you're starting with the kind of life that you want,
Yes.
and then you're building a business to work within that life versus the alternative or the opposite.
Exactly.
And so that would be the first takeaway in the first 7 minutes is what kind of life are we trying to create?
Yes.
Get as specific as possible, because you were getting very specific about traveling the world at least 12 weeks per year.
Sitting in first class.
In first class.
You got it. Like, you really got to drill in the specifics, right? Because first class is a different experience, and you need a different level of income to be in first class than you do to be in the basic economy.
So there's a question. How do you want to fly?
Yeah.
Where do you want to go? What kind of clients do you want to have? So having been at the corporate world, where sometimes you have to work with people that you may not love or want to work with, like when you were dialing in, I mean, talk to us about being clear about who that is, who we want to work with and what we want to do with them.
Yeah. So, and it took me a while to figure out, like, all right, who are the people that light me up? And I knew that it was entrepreneurs, right? I knew I wanted to work with business owners. I had shifted from working with sales teams into working with entrepreneurs. And I just love that entrepreneurial spirit. But I discovered that what I really love is I love entrepreneurs that have that lifestyle dream, right? They look and say, I've got this one precious life and I want to design it my way. And then I want the business to serve the lifestyle. And so my clients are coaches and consultants and service providers who want to run a really kick-ass lifestyle business. They don't care what the top line number is. They don't care, if they make $1 million, great, but that's not like what's driving them. They don't really care about having 10 Ferraris to impress a bunch of people. They're not trying to build a big organization with 1 million employees. That's not, they're like, you know what? I want to have the time and money freedom to do the stuff that I want to do. And I want to achieve that by serving my clients really well and creating this beautiful work-life harmony, right? And balance, I think, is a loaded word, but this harmony so that your business supports your life. And I realized that's my tribe, not the folks that want to hustle and grind and scale and all that other stuff.
I love the clarity that you're bringing to this conversation. And I remember having a conversation with you a number of months ago where I said, there are so many people teaching about how to build a 7-figure scalable business, and you're not doing that. And I loved it, the way you answered it. Do you remember?
Yeah, like my clients want to personally make about $250,000 a year in their personal bank account. Maybe they've got a couple of contractors or part-time folks. And if they can do that, they're happy as clams. And I just find that there's so many folks out there that go, yeah, that's really what I want. I don't care about building some monster organization. Like, I want to work in my spare bedroom and make $20,000 a month that I can put in my bank account. And I don't want to manage a bunch of people. I did all of that in corporate. I don't want to do it anymore.
So when you've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt, and you have clarity about the life you want and the income requirements that you have in order to have that time and space freedom, then it it comes time to, and so you've named and claimed who your people are, you've
Yeah.
named and claimed how you want to help them. There's so many different ways to plan out how we're going to do it. And you
Yeah.
are pretty famous for this one-page business plan. And
Yeah.
I think the thing that I should probably precede the next question with is, you had this crappy corporate job, you had your go-to moment on the mountaintop, and you said, this isn't for me. You've gone on and built something awesome. What have you built, and how long have you been at it, and how many people have you touched and transformed since you've been doing it?
Yeah. So gosh, I think we're a little over 10,000 right now. Of folks that have used our Simple Success Roadmap, our one-page planning process. And what were all the other questions?
Well, like, has your business, I mean, now you're living
Yeah.
it. I mean,
Yeah, we're in a groove. Like everything is, we're at this place in our business that I aim to get our clients to, which is where everything is lather, rinse, repeat, right? It's
rather rinse and
predictable.
repeat.
Yeah. Like we know when we're getting ready to launch something, we know how to do it. We know our numbers, we know what to expect. So, going into an offer or something, we're not worried about, oh, is it going to work? Because we've done it a couple of times, and we keep all the stuff that works and we change the stuff that doesn't, and we know what the numbers are. So I people say, well, what is your goal for next year? And I'm like, well, I already know what I'm going to make, and I've upped it from last year, because what we focus then on is, how do we grow the input side, because we know what the outputs are going to be.
So what can you share in a few little bite-sized pieces that people who are watching and listening now can walk away with, feel instantly served, so that as they're getting their business plans penned on a piece of paper, they're actually tending to the right things to accomplish that wash, rinse, and repeat scenario?
Yeah. So a couple of things that I think are really important. One is to take a look back at last year and be really clear about, what did we do that worked, right? What can we bring forward into next year, and just lather, rinse, repeat? In that those things that we did really well, are there ways that we could make them a little better? Are there ways that we can close some of the gaps, right? Can we make the client experience better? Is there something, and we don't have to change it all. We just have to tweak it and make it a little bit better. What are the things that we did last year that were an absolute failure, and why, right? Was it a failure because we didn't do the right thing? Like, it wasn't in alignment with the stuff that we should be doing? Did we just not know what we were doing? Right? Sometimes you're just like, well, I don't know, let's do this thing somebody told us to do. And was it, do we have the wrong market, right? Really just looking at, like, what failed, and is it something that we could fix and make really great? Or is it something we should just go, yep, lesson learned, move on?
Right. So we look back first before we look ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, we get so excited about new things that we forget to look at the things that we've already done. And so I see a lot of entrepreneurs that are almost starting over every single year. It's like, wait, you made money last year, so you did something right. How can we just do more of that and make that better instead of starting from scratch? So I think one of the things that's really important to look at is, what needs to change in this coming year, right? Do you really need to create a new product, or do you just need to refine your marketing for that product? Do you need to define your target audience more? Do you need to improve your offer? Does your pricing need to change? Do you need different people coming in? Do you need a different way to attract those right people? There's so many little changes that you can make, and it's figuring out, what are those little changes that we can make to use stuff we already have.
Yes. So we've looked back, we've made these considerations.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to, refining your market, refining your audience, looking at your pricing, some people just in a rote manner say, inflation's through the roof, I'm raising my prices. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about how to address the whole pricing scenario?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think for a lot of us, we're service providers. What we are selling quite often is our time and our expertise. And, when I look at things like, if you're selling an online course, right? The raw materials that go into that online course, if it's already been created, right? it- Inflation isn't impacting you from a cost standpoint, right? Generally, the stuff that you're using to deliver that online course, the prices are the same, right? You've signed up for your Kajabi or whatever. And so you saying, well, I'm going to raise my prices just because everybody else is. I don't know that that's necessary. I think you can go out to the market and say, hey, look, everybody else is raising their prices. And you know what? We decided to keep ours the same, right? Because we want to help you. We don't want to be another increased expense. If
It's
you
a
look
much
at,
different message, isn't that?
yeah, I mean, we're here to help people. We're here to do it profitably. And with raising your prices for your time and your services, you should have been doing that every year anyway, right? Regardless of inflation, right? Because every year you're better at what you do, right? So if you're delivering a live training, or you're speaking on a stage, or you're doing something, or you're doing one-on-one coaching, those rates should go up every year because you're better at it. And so you're delivering more value. So to me, that's not tied to inflation either. I think that, the beautiful thing about our business is we have, most people don't have control of their income. They're waiting for a boss to tell them what they're worth. We have control of our income. If we get better at selling and better at marketing, we make more money. We don't have to raise rates.
Amen and fabulous. So there's so much to talk about in terms of business planning. We talked about looking back, then we want to look ahead. And you've said, if you have something that's proven, then lather, rinse, and repeat.
Yep.
And make continuous improvement in all the areas that you have addressed. Mm-hmm. Is there any other little pearls you want to share about looking forward?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things is to decide now what you're going to do next year. And I love the word decide, because the root of it, the origin of it, means to cut out or cut away. And so to decide is to choose the things that you're absolutely going to do, as well as the things that you are not going to do. So recognizing that when you put those things, when you decide these are the changes I'm going to make in my business, that you're saying, this is what I'm going to work on. And I'm going to say no or not now to all that other stuff that comes flooding in that looks and smells like opportunity. Right? And say, no, I've already decided. I've chosen the things I'm going to work on, and I'm going to do those things. And when those are done, then I can go play with all this other shiny stuff.
I love that.
And yeah. And, choosing and deciding now what you're going to do later, so that when the shiny stuff comes by, all you have to do is go, is it on my plan? Yes. Great. Then I'm going to say yes to that. Is it on my plan? No. Well, that goes on my not now list, and I'll come back to that later when I've got my plan done.
I love that. I love that. This whole idea of discernment, we were talking in the green room about Alice in Wonderland. Like,
yeah,
if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. Mm-hmm. There's somebody knocking at your door asking you to invest in this, invest in that. Mm-hmm. But if you have some big overarching goal and you have a plan around how you're going to build it, then you can make a discernible decision that will be smart. So speaking about making discernible, smart decisions, you've got something coming up to actually guide us through your one-page business planning process. Can you tell us more about that, and when it's happening, and why we need to do it?
Yes. So I have a webinar coming up called How to Plan Your Entire Year on a Single Sheet of Paper. And in it, I actually walk you through everything that needs to go on that single sheet of paper. So we got video here, looks like this, and I'll walk you through everything that needs to go on that sheet of paper. One of the things that I'm really excited about this year that we're doing in this training that we've never done is I've spent a lot of time figuring out what are the 4 natural productivity types for entrepreneurs. There's sort of 4 buckets. And I put together a quiz so folks can figure out what their bucket is, what's their natural productivity type. And we're actually going to deep dive into those in the training and share, like, okay, if you're this productivity type, then here's how you best use a plan. And here's the pitfalls that typically you're going to run into. And here's how you overcome those ahead of time so that you don't get sidetracked the way you normally have been in the past. And the cool thing is you don't have to change who you are, right? You don't have to try to be somebody else or fit into somebody else's mold. You just learn to work with what you naturally have and make it better.
I love that.
Yeah. And so we're going to do a deep dive into that. I'm super excited about it. We have 5 webinars this month on the same topic. I wanted to give people a choice of dates and times. So they are
And they're all live, right?
Yep, they are all live. I don't like to do recorded stuff. And just a little thing, they are all live, and we do not do replays. We don't do recordings and replays. So I tell folks, if it's important to you, you'll show up live.
Well, I want to say that I can't think of anything more important than getting your life organized and your business orchestrated so that you can achieve your best life in the new year. Many of the folks in my community know that I had a health scare this year. You know, a black cat crosses your path and you get a wake-up call that you only have whatever left time that you have to do this thing that you're supposed to do. None of this mucking around and pulling it up from air and hoping that it works out. Get really specific and deliberate about what kind of life you want, how you're going to build a business around the life that you love, and how it's going to be simple, profitable, full of time freedom. If you're not somebody who wants to hustle all the time, then decide not to hustle all the time and create a program that you can lather, rinse, and repeat so that you can serve more people at an extreme value and make them super happy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, think about it. We plan all the important things in our lives, right? You know, we plan our weddings. When you get pregnant, you plan the birth of your child and the nursery and where they're going to go to school. And you plan all of the most important things in your world. Why would you not plan the business that gives you the income for all of those other important things?
Well, and you know, one of the things that I've been telling my clients is that there may be a variety of things that you offer in service to meeting needs for your clients. But if we're really doing that looking back exercise and we're discovering where the greatest share of revenue is rolling, why not double down on that amazing service and be relentless in delivering it in a world-class way so that you can have even more renewals and more referrals and more of that. We don't necessarily have to start from scratch with something brand new. So
specialists always earn more than generalists.
Love that. So these things, the very first one of these sessions is starting on
the 8th.
The 8th of December. And
at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
1 p.m. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to put a link in the comments below where people can register for any one of these 5 live webinars. And all I'm saying is if you register to come to a live webinar, plan to be there so that you can get the magic, because with one sheet of paper guiding the rest of your successful year, how much easier can your life be? How much more joyful and profitable can be your business? How much more fun can you have doing the life that you intend? If not now, then when, right? Any parting thoughts before we wrap up for today? Anything I should have asked you that I didn't?
No, I just want folks to really think about, you know, as entrepreneurs, we have this amazing life that we can live, because we get to design it and we get to create the path to get there. We get to make all the choices. And when you've got a path to walk down that's unique to you, that's custom designed just for you, the getting to all the stuff that you want is not only easier, it's a heck of a lot of fun. It's like the best road trip you've ever been on. And that's what I want to show people how to do. In case you can't tell, I'm really passionate about this. It's so much fun for me. So the more people I can share it with, the happier I am.
So look how far you've come from that miserable person in the corporate world
Right.
to being on a mountainscape and realizing there has to be a better way, to
Yeah.
turning that mess into a message that has empowered 10,000 or more people to live their dream and have it be real. I mean, that's got to feel great.
It's wonderful. I was at a family event yesterday, and a couple of my family members were sitting around grousing about their corporate overlords and how they hated where they worked, and everything had changed and they just wanted to retire. Rah, 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 rah. And I just got up and left because I didn't have anything to contribute. I was like, I don't know. I love my life. I don't want to sit around and complain. Like, I'm going to go in here and talk to my dad. So I did. I just left the room.
You know, we become like the 5 people we spend the most time with. And if we're spending time with other entrepreneurs, coaches, and course creators, and people who are actually loving their lives and loving their work and seeing more possibilities than potholes, I mean, that's going to lift everybody up. So be careful who you spend time with, and be certain to learn from the people who are the best. And that's what I do. I bring you the best. Laura Posey is the best at helping you to create that one-page business plan. Please run and don't walk to any of these dates that are coming up, and be there live and get the access to this powerful tool that's going to change your life for the better and make your business allow you to have that time freedom, summers off, flying first class. Name it and claim it, baby. Name it and
That's
claim
right.
it.
Anything you want. You can have anything you want, but you got to know what it is.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Laura, thank you so much for coming on live. If folks have enjoyed this interview, please post a like or a comment or a question, and we'll circle back and thank you for that. And we'll look forward to seeing you on one of these webinars coming up very shortly. And may you have a brilliantly profitable and rewarding 2023, because you took the action that Laura Posey suggested that you do. And I'm so glad that you did. Looking forward to celebrating your success. So thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you, Nancy. I really had a great time today.
And I did too. I love all my experts. I have the most amazing people in my life. And
right? Isn't it awesome?
But you know what? That was an intention. I will surround myself with amazing people who will lift me higher, so that every day is a banquet. I mean, that's an intention. That's an intention. No icky people under the tent. That's my
I love it. I love it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon. And we'll see you at the webinars coming up very shortly. Bye-bye for now. Thank you.
That was wonderful. That was so much fun.
It was. All right. I don't know if I'm still streaming, so I'm going to. Bye-bye. Thank you.